All right, guys, I think we're ready to start. So, Happy New Year, everyone. We're very excited for y'all to join us here. Some of our community members, it's already 2022. It's going to be a crazy year, especially for Mavia. So, this is something we want to start trying to do every month, which is kind of like it's a community update, AMA session, and a roadmap for the next month. So we want to be very organized. We want to give you guys constant updates on the months ahead. So this is going to be an AMA session, but it's also going to be kind of a roadmap for what you guys can expect in January.
So that's the summary of today. So we're gonna start with talking about the roadmap of January, and then discuss about the prices, the gift related to the contest, and talk about the land sales and the whitelist. And after that, reply to a couple questions that people have asked during the week.
Here is the official roadmap for January. On January 2nd, we're going to have the website live. By website, this is the Mavia.com website. The Skrice website's already live, as you guys know. We're very excited to release this. It looks really good. And that won't include all the pages like the minting and some of the other things we have, but it will include the landing page while we're building the rest. Then on January 4th, we will begin the whitelist. This is the big one. This is what everyone wanted to know. We will begin the whitelist. And we will be announcing around January 2nd or 3rd the requirements for the whitelist. We're not going to announce it on this AMA, but we will go into details on how many people will be in the whitelist, etc. Then we will announce the whitelist on January 23rd, and the whitelist mint, which is the mint of the land, will take place on January 25th. The whitelist, this is all whitelist for land, by the way. So this is the 3 free gift options. Everyone who partook in the Discord, the early Discord member gift. These are the 3 options.
So the first one is a legendary golden costume for a hero. And the idea is we will create a special skin that's unique, that only basically you guys can ever have. And it will be related to one of the hero of your choice. So we will create one for each hero, and when you redeem the code, basically you get the skin for the hero of your choice. Okay. Second option will be a decoration. So in that case, will be a tree, but we could still change that. But it's a golden object that only basically you could have on your terrain, and might be interesting for increasing the value of the terrain instead of the hero. And on the other end, there is this 50 ruby in-game credits, and that will represent something around like $50. So these 3 options will be open for voting by the community on January 2nd on Discord.
Yeah, it's tough to put a value on the legendary golden hero costume and the tree decoration. So, because there's only going to be ever 8,000 minted, and the reason or 8,000 created, not minted. They're not NFTs. These go on the NFTs. So you have to have a hero to put a costume on it, and you have to have a base to put the golden tree decoration on it. But there will be 8,000 heroes over, there will be 8,000 plots of land. So this increases the NFT value. And there's not a time limit for when you have to use it. So there will only ever be 8,000 of these codes. They're sent via email because we have everyone's email. So we will send an in-game voucher that can be redeemed, and you can hold it as long as you want. But it's essentially like that code represents the redemption of that skin or that decoration. And the 50 Ruby in-game credit, it's valued at $50 because Ruby, when we launch, is going to be starting at $1. And the 50 Ruby in-game credit, yeah, so that is spend only. So this is going to be able to be put into the game and used, but it can't be withdrawn into the Ruby cryptocurrency and just dumped on the market. This has to be spent inside the game. So it's a 50 Ruby worth $50 in-game credit, but it's spend only. So all of these are unique in their own way. We'll leave it up to you guys to decide which one you guys want. Okay, the Mavia land sale. This is the most valuable NFT in the game. Become an owner of one of the most valuable NFT assets in the Mavia ecosystem. There are 3 unique types of bases. Common, which make up 70% of the supply, will be priced at 0.3 ETH. Tropical rare will be 20% of the supply, 0.6 ETH, and Tropical Legendary will be 10% of the supply and 0.9 ETH. And this first drop is all tropical. And even we don't have the pictures yet of the exact base you guys are going to receive because they're still being edited uniquely for the thousands of people. But this is just a general representation of what it'll look like and the differences. The common is the most basic of them as far as cosmetics. It'll still look very cool. All of them will look very, very good. Rare has a little bit more cosmetic design and enhancements and a little bit better map location. And Legendary has the most pizzazz. It has a lot of decorations added to it. The best location, it's waterfront. It'll be on the beach. It'll be on the shoreline. So the main differences between these are that there's actually no in-game like attack or defense advantage. They're all fair. They're all the same as far as gameplay goes. The differences is cosmetics, land location on the Mavia Island, and also there's a luck factor that is increased when it comes to rare and legendary. What that means is when the small base obstacles appear, like bushes and trees and shrubs, every time you dig that up, you have a luck factor. It's like a random wheel that's spun, and that's all behind the scenes. But the object that's revealed, whether it's ruby, whether it's a shield, whether it's a skin, that depends on luck. And the more of a rare or legendary base you have, the more likely you are to reveal something rare. So one could make the argument that over time it's worth it to buy one of the more rare legendary ones for that economic reason alone. But the more instantaneous difference you'll see is definitely cosmetic and the map location. So here's the pricing. Here's the availability of them. So each plot of land is unique in location and design. We use a unique generator to make every plot of land on the Mavia Island unique in island placement, geography, and layout. Okay, so the land sale. There's 3,000 land plots available in the whitelist and public mint. So the pre-sale will have, we already sold this actually. This was to top tier guilds, which we'll be announcing very soon, influencers. We made sure that we got very good distribution and they're very committed. Everyone in the pre-sale, they're not going to just unload any of their land. They're actually going to be staking their land, which I'll explain in a moment. But this is very good for us because we have secured a lot of players already. By doing this pre-sale with the guilds, I mean, these guilds are like the top guilds in the space. We had so much interest for the pre-sale. That's really all we'll do for the pre-sale for the guilds and stuff right now. That's like the limit. But we'll be announcing them next week. We have a lot of press coming out next week. A lot of announcements of the partners we've been having, including our VCs for the token as well. But those pre-sale people who bought the land, they're in this for the long run and they have a really strong player base. So we're going to be able to launch the game with a strong community from the land itself day one. The whitelist is 2,000 plots of land, and we're selling to community members and early contributors. That's all you guys. And then the public will be first come, first served basis. So this is something I'm really excited about is the land soft staking. So soft staking is a new form of gas-free staking. So there's no gas to stake. And it rewards land NFT holders for simply holding their land in their wallet. So our custom-built token trackers reward users who do not sell or transfer their NFTs until the end of the staking period. What this means is once we release the staking program, the soft staking program, you will be able to go to the website, and if you're holding land, you can push stake, and it's a similar flow to what normal staking is, but no gas, just signing your MetaMask or your wallet transaction. And now our backend will watch that wallet, and you're staking right away, and you're going to be earning rewards right away. And we'll announce what the rewards are later, but you'll be able to see in real time your rewards and everything accruing. But you can't move or sell the NFT or else the staking contract's broken. And you don't get a little bit of the stake. It's all or nothing. So the staking program will end close to around when the game's launching, if not the day of launch. We'll have a solid date there for you to see so you know exactly how long it'll be. But basically, if you don't sell or you don't transfer the NFT from your wallet, you will be in. And the rewards will be pretty good. So all the people who were, diamond hands and held the land and didn't sell it, they will be rewarded just like normal stakers do. So we call it soft staking because it's still in your wallet. It's not transferred to a smart contract. It's still in your possession, but it watches it. And if you move it, it breaks the staking contract. Okay, let's answer some community AMA questions.
Yeah, so there is so the very first thing that makes Mavia unique is obviously the fact that it's related to tokens, you know, to the Ruby. The Ruby makes it very unique because obviously it generates a lot of related features, and so that changed the game a lot. So, for instance, we've got the wagers matches.
Yeah, so there's so much that makes Mavia different. I mean, there's a lot of base builder games, strategy games, but there's like two classes of games we have to compare ourselves to. One is the crypto games, and one is just, normal strategy games that exist on the market on mobile and on desktop today. So from the crypto games, I'd say we're the most unique because of our token model. I think our token model is very, very unique. I don't think anyone's ever done it before. And the way we have strategized keeping Ruby stable, somewhat stable. And I say somewhat, I'll get into that. It's actually one of the next questions is about the Ruby, but I'd say that's one of the main things on the crypto one that's unique. Apart from our branding, our design, and I'm just comparing two crypto games. Apart from the different platforms we're going to be available on, the amount of unique in-game assets and in-game playable characters, I think all these things really separate us from the existing market in crypto gaming. As far as traditional gaming, the fact that we're a crypto game in itself makes us really unique. But let's compare us to like some of the other base builder games, strategy games like Clash of Clans as an example. We've added so many new game features. Like for example, we think wagered matches will be one of the main things that makes Mavia so addicting. The fact that you can play the game, play to earn, you'll earn some Ruby, and you can take that same Ruby the next second and go play a wagered match. Let's say you took 10 Ruby and you do a wagered match and winner takes all. It's fun. But we're going to add something called, this is something we're considering. I'm not going to commit, but basically we're thinking about launching. I don't know if we'll launch with this, but we definitely want to add this in the roadmap is duos, where you'll be able to play with one partner and do a wagered match as duos, which is really cool because it's like team doubles, but in wagered match base battles. Lots of things like that, like a lot of new game types no one's really tried before. Yeah, so I'd say like that's really what makes this different from both ends. There's a lot of specifics like actually it goes into one of the next questions, so I'll just go to the next question.
Yep. Yeah, one thing we can definitely add is, at least from my part, the thing I saw that's very unique is how much how much triple A quality there is. Like the people working with us is just crazy, and I really like the ambition of the vision, you know, of Mavia, everything there is behind. So this is not something I've seen in similar projects, and I'm very thrilled to show that soon to the community. It's a bit frustrating very right now to, you know, because there was the end of the year, so I don't have a lot of new stuff to show you. But in the next AMA, I'm gonna really like show you a lot of more stuff related to the game. Okay, so let's continue the next question.
And oh, this is really cool. So,
Mhm.
um, on OpenSea, Abe and I were just discussing this. We're gonna triple check, but we already double checked, and we're pretty sure we can make this happen. But basically, the thumbnail picture you see on OpenSea for your land NFT, we can make it a snapshot of your base layout. So if you have a tropical base and the land's there, that's the NFT originally. But what does the base look like when you build the turrets and you build the walls and you build the HQ and you build the troops on it? That screenshot, that bird's eye view of the map will be your NFT's profile picture or thumbnail on OpenSea. So I don't think like Sandbox and some of these other big games, it just shows a grid. It says, oh, here's your coordinates for your land. We're gonna show the base with the actual buildings on it. So that's really cool. It's like that'll be like a lot of people probably use that for their profile pictures too. But I think that's something else that makes us unique on the NFT side. Question two, will land stay the same price in upcoming land sales? We're planning on doing one more land sale like this for the community before the game launch. But we want to wait for that. We want to wait till the demand's there. We want to make sure we sell out of everything really quickly. We want to capture that momentum and hype. But we want to save most of the land for the community. And what we mean by that is there's going to be land sales in the future, but they're in Mavia token. And the reason we want to do it in Mavia token is we want to create that demand for the Mavia token itself. Right now, all these land sales are done in ETH. They're going to fund the project, funding marketing, funding the team, funding development, design, and liquidity for Ruby. But in the future, they're going to have the way land's generated is different. The whole mechanic by which they're paid for and created is going to fundamentally change. So that's why we're not releasing so many plots of land, even though we think we could still sell them all. We want to bring that value back to Ruby and Mavia. So there'll be more information on how many and how much it'll cost in the future, but it'll definitely be priced in Mavia token. But we don't want to make commitments to that because we want to gauge the demand and we want to make sure it's actually in the best interest of the landholders that we don't commit because we want to make sure we capture that value and keep it. One of our top priorities is making sure every single landholder who participates now and in the future, they have that stability and security that the price is going to remain somewhat stable or go up. So we don't want to promise anything, because you can never do that in this space, but our priority is making sure the value that's put into land remains there and increases over time. So what are the Mavia token vesting schedules for the team and pre-sale investors? So the team has 6-year vesting. It's linear quarterly. So that means every 3 months, the team will get their Mavia tokens over a 6-year period. So it's a long time. It shows really the commitment. And the pre-sale investors is 4-year quarterly. So the team actually has longer than the pre-sale investors. And we're going to be releasing the names of a lot of these pre-sale investors. They're very big tier 1 VCs. We're very excited to release the names. They're going to be starting January 3rd, I believe, is the first press release coming out. And after that, it's going to be a barrage of announcements. We wanted to wait till after the holidays, and they agreed. How much land will there be on the Mavia island? So we're initially committing to 100,000. And what we want to do is after that, we have a DAO with the Mavia token holders. So there's a lot of concern that if we limit it permanently, it would stifle the growth of the game, which is true. We can't really limit anything forever. That was never our intention. But we got to put a number out there because no landowner wants to hear that there's going to be like millions of plots of land in the future. I mean, because then there's really no cap to the amount of inflation and supply that can go there. So we're going to put an initial soft cap at about 100,000. And we can still grow after that, but it's going to come down to the DAO vote. And we will, as a community, decide the best course of action. We don't think that's a decision the dev team alone should make because now it's involving everyone. It's involving the players, it's involving the landowners, it's involving the token holders. So we will all come up with a few good options, and there's many options about how we can go forward with minting new land. And our job is to make sure that it's designed properly and it's presented properly and it's organized properly. But we think the community as a whole should decide this. So we will all come together and decide how much more to mint and make sure that the landowners are taken care of, the players are taken care of, and that the game is able to grow and it's not stifled. But I will say there is great value in keeping the land somewhat scarce because if you have more demand than supply, that's a good thing. Always. It's just basic economics. So we don't want oversupply of land. We don't want oversaturation, especially since we plan on each land doing so well. I mean, we want to make sure that every player and every piece of land has an equal amount of opportunity as far as the Ruby earnings. And keeping the land limited is one of the main ways we're able to control the amount of inflation of Ruby. Because let's take a game like Axie, for example. You'll have 2 Axies, they breed. Now you have a new Axie. You have two forms of inflation. You have the SLP inflation, but then the things that create SLP, they're inflating too. So it's like double inflation. Imagine if land bred. I mean, we have land breeding. Now there's like 2 turns to 3 turns to 4, and then it's exponentially growing the inflation rate of Ruby. So we can't have that. We got to something has to stay fixed in this formula. Something has to grow linearly and in a controlled fashion. So who controls it? The DAO. But the inflation rate has to remain under control. And our approach, I think, is going to be one of the reasons why Ruby stays stable because we're approaching it so slow. We can always add more land, but we can't take it back. So I guess the short answer is it depends on everyone in our community vote. But for now, the soft cap's 100,000. That means that's how much we'll go to before we have to all vote and come together and decide. But I think that'll be a fun process.
What's the strategy to keep Ruby stable in price? Well, that's a question that has multiple answers. So basically, we want to provide a lot of ways to spend a Ruby, but like things that make sense and are cool for the gameplay. And there is a lot of ways up to the level 10, up to level 50, you know, and past that, we also have options for limiting to keep the Ruby stable by using like consumables, but in many different ways.
There's many ways we keep Ruby stable. There's two main angles to keeping Ruby price stable: controlling inflation and creating demand for the token purchasing on like exchanges. So we need a limit on the amount that can be minted. We got to just control that side, and we also have to incentivize people to buy Ruby. I mean, it's not just in the game, it's on the market. So we need a strong demand for the token that exceeds what they're able to get in the game alone. And then we need a limit or at least a predictable rate of inflation so that we can, you know, as a game, kind of plan out that. Some of the ways we do that is, well, the real revenue generators. Let's look at any game. The number one revenue generators are consumables like skins, like speed ups. So I'm going to list out some of our consumables. When people buy skins for their heroes, that ruby's burned. When people buy decorations for their base, that ruby's burned. When people buy a shield to protect their base longer, that ruby's burned. All these things burn ruby. When you're increasing your hero statue or your base level, that ruby's burned. When you fight a wagered match, let's say you put up 100 ruby, your opponent puts up 100 ruby, you win, there's 5% of your opponent's earnings, like the 100 he put up, is taken as a tax and it's burned. So you would earn 95. And that number might change if it's, we'll have to play around with that. But that's a revenue generator and that's creating deflation. And that's of no loss to the ecosystem because nothing was minted there. It was just transferred from one player to another. But the player who won turned 100 into 195, so he's still happy. And we'll get into a few more game things that we're adding that create deflation, but basically we're creating a lot of different avenues that appeal to a lot of different players. Another one is speeding up time. I mean, you're building a wall. It takes maybe a couple days to finish. You don't have time for that. You know, you're going to throw some ruby at it. That creates deflation, that burns it. There's so many different mechanics within the game that are like considered consumables or that generate revenue for the company that all creates that deflation. I think personally wagered matches will be a really big one because a lot of people will load up on Ruby and just want to play this like all day. They'll want to, you know, they'll wager, they'll do duos and wager. And then this goes into one of the next slides, which is one of the next questions, but something we're calling alliances, which is our version of clan wars. That's going to be a big revenue generator as well. How will the rental price of land be determined? We're the dev team and none of us are deciding rental prices. It's all the market. So if the going rate, as these are all examples, if the going rate for a level 5 base is, let's say, $20 a day, that's probably because they're able to earn $30 or $40 a day if they play. And those numbers may be higher or lower, I don't know. But basically, the rental prices will adjust based on demand. If people are able to earn a lot through renting, then the price of rent will increase. If they're able to earn less for whatever reason, then the prices will go down. So we think the market will determine those. It's completely free market and we have no influence over any of the prices. Will a similar feature, this is something I just discussed, will a similar feature to Clan Wars be implemented into Heroes of Mavia? The answer is yes. We're going to be calling it alliances. And we think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's probably going to be one of our main features, but we're still adding a lot to that, so we will go into that later. And we want to save some stuff for you guys at a later time. But those alliances are going to be one of the main reasons people stay so engaged in the game is because they have partners and they have friends and they're all part of an alliance and they're battling other alliances, you know? Question 8, how will the Mavia token be launched and when will it launch? This is to be announced. We're thinking around February for the token launch, but it's not a hard date. And we will announce the method by which we're launching the token, but it's not announced yet. Will Heroes of Mavia implement a layer 2 scaling solution to decrease gas costs for Ethereum? Yes, we're going to be using Arbitrum. So the gas cost should go down like 10x at least. They have a lot of cool stuff coming out. We're very close with their team, but Arbitrum seemed like the best bet for us. So we're going to be building the actual game. This won't apply to the NFT sale or the original token launch. This is for when the game comes out. We will have a very pretty bridge that allows you to bridge your assets over for not so much gas. And then once you're in Arbitrum, by that time, I mean, look, the game's coming out around Q4. We think it'll be pretty mainstream to be using layer 2 scaling solutions, so you guys don't have to worry about like not knowing how it works and stuff. And if it's not very clear by then, we'll help, but we think it's very important because we got to reduce the gas costs.
So the answer is no. The goal is to keep the Ruby in-game currency and to make it as healthy as possible so that it's in the benefit of the players in the community. So yeah, I imagine like the Ruby be inside of a shell, you know, and the Mavia token being the shell itself. So that's the reason why the Ruby has to be, you know, as balanced as possible.
Is that the last one? Yep, that's it, guys. So that was the AMA. Like I said, Ave and I, and several other team members will probably be joining next time as well. We want to show you so many of the teams on like a little holiday break. You know, it's the holidays, so Avon and I were the only ones that were able to join this one. But we want to show the art. We want to show the development. We want to show some of the strategy we have on the marketing side. So we want these AMAs to be more than just AMAs. They're kind of like monthly community updates. And we'll prepare a nice presentation for each one, and we'll walk you through the roadmap for the next month, what's going on, all the updates. This is like our main engagement with you guys, and it's going to be very predictable and organized. So we're looking around like the first couple of days of each month we want to do this, but that's all we got for you today. Continue to ask questions in the Discord and the AMA channel, and we will try to answer them, you know, here and there. And, you know, it's New Year's. Have a good New Year's, everyone, and we will speak to you soon.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thank you very much.